Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh my God, it is a wonderful, wonderful Monday morning.
It is, isn't it? Just looking outside.
Yeah, man. And we're going into that winter period. So stacking up your winter games.
Yep.
Looking in your Steam catalogs.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the collection of games in your library and deciding which one you're going to put hours and hours of your life into.
It's basically that, man. Just get cozy. Just get warm. Light some candles.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself, yeah.
Get
the chocolates in.
Shania Twain.
Shania Twain.
Get a little bit of Alanis Morissette up in the background when you set up Apex.
Alanis Morissette.
Oh, we agree with that one?
Oh, we agree with that. Yeah. Jagged Little Pill album for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. Classic.
Okay.
Classic.
What was the name of that first album? From I'm Like a Bird. What was her name?
Oh, what? Nelly Furtado.
Nelly Furtado. That first album as well.
That first album
one
was
of them
really
ones.
good. Like,
I remember one of them winter indoor things.
I remember I got that as a gift at some point, and I put it off for ages. I was like, I don't know what this is. Then I started listening to it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is
all up in the feels.
Yeah, I was like, this is actually sick.
You need that, and then get yourself a little bit of Fleetwood Mac.
Oh yeah, gotta have Fleetwood Mac. Rumours album.
Bit of Dreams.
Bit of Dreams.
And just kill people on games.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, if you didn't already know, it's going to be real light because, to be honest, I think we're reaching that point now where the things that we want to report are few and far between at the moment because there's not much going on. I think COVID's kind of got to that point.
COVID has got to everybody, every industry. I think
it's just pretty quiet. I mean, the saddest thing at the moment that we know is that my favorite cinema, Pitch House Central, is now temporarily closed.
Yep.
Is it Cineworld?
Cineworld, which I think is owned by the US company Regal.
They've just closed all their US.
They've just closed all their US
cinemas.
Apparently 45,000 people are going to be out of work.
Every movie you can ever think of isn't coming out to 2022.
Everything is done, fam.
It's lock off.
Yeah. Finish. Nothing's coming out until 2022
chef has
at
already
least.
cooked it.
Yeah.
And it's gone. So the Batman film's been pushed to 2022. No Time to Die, Bond is now next year. Jurassic World is now not coming out to 2022. Jurassic World 3.
That's crazy.
Black Adam's now unscheduled.
Indefinite shelving.
Yeah. It's just gotten to a bit of a madness.
Yeah.
Other than that, Baldur's Gate 3 is now in early access. Very exciting. Larian Studios, the developers of Divinity, Original Sin. Really cool, really wild guys, really, really good fun. They always have a good time developing their games. And Baldur's Gate 3 is a very famous isometric RPG. And now they've gone for this more Divinity style, Dragon Age kind of style format.
Okay.
And it was fun because they actually went on, I think it's on Twitter, and they complained that they put all this love and effort into the character creator.
Yeah.
And the algorithm, they were like, let's see what all the guys are putting together, and we'll put together an algorithm of what all the characters look like. So we'll take everyone who's created a character, we'll take their character, we'll merge them into one super character. And generic white guy number 6 came out.
Oh my word.
And they were like, come on, guys. And they even went out and said, come on, guys. We've given you tails, we've given you horns, scales,
giving you everything,
multiple things. It's madness. And the number one thing that came out was this super generic, looks like the Peter Parker replacement for Marvel's Spider-Man. And they were like, we're really disappointed. We're not angry, we're just disappointed. And they really complained about it. They were like, come on, just get creative.
Yeah, man.
If you want to play it, it is on Steam. Like I said, it is in early access, which means there are bugs, and they're doing hotfixes every day. I'm gonna wait.
You're going to wait for it?
Yeah, I really want to enjoy
that game. Sounds like a
game.
safe bet, to be fair.
I really want to enjoy that game, so I'm going to wait until the bugs are done, or at least, as close as possible. So probably in the middle of next year, a couple months even.
Hear that?
Yeah, so that's kind of like, we're in the middle of the aftermarket. Apex. I had a game today, one which was lovely. A little win, cheeky win before the podcast.
Cool.
Made me feel good about myself.
Oh, nice, man.
You have those days where you just play really well.
Oh, yeah.
When you have like Street Fighter day and you're like, I'm amazing at this game. And then the next day you're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not.
You just get days where you just go in and you just lay waste.
Yeah.
And you think, are they really crap or am I really good?
Yeah.
I think I'm really good today. I'm feeling myself today.
Because normally you're like, wow, these players are amazing. You're like, no, you're just really shit. And then the days it's like, I'm doing really well today. I'm taking names. I'm not dead yet. I'm shooting. I'm protecting my team. I'm rezzing. I'm hitting all my marks. And then you're like, no, I think I just got lucky.
Yeah, because you'll get that one match, and then it's like, oh, okay, all right, I need to sit down a little bit before I get too gassed, and then there'll be another match. You get
Here's a question:
Yeah.
Do you find the difference? And I'm going to say this for Street Fighter because I know it certainly feels that way in Apex. Ranked versus casual.
Yeah.
Different vibe.
Completely.
Different vibe.
Completely.
I mean,
different.
you're technically playing the same game.
Yeah.
But there's this weird, I want to say, desperation in ranked.
There is a desperation in ranked. It's almost it's a ruthless desperation as well, because I feel as though with casual you've kind of got that time to experiment and just do a few things. I mean, obviously there is still the onus to win the match.
Yeah, of course.
But you can flare a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
A little bit of showboating.
You can showboat a little bit.
You're not worried
so
so much.
Yeah, you can do that. You can like Prince Nazim Hamid, if you remember him.
Yeah.
You can just do that all day up in casual. Ranked, you ain't got time for that.
But then it just feels like people are pushing buttons and it gets a bit sweaty.
It's sweaty, yeah.
And you're like, why is this guy like pushing so hard? I'm going to shoot you in your face.
Yeah.
And they do it and you're like, oh my God. Like there's just this desperation to... And I know that like there's just kids everywhere that, jobs, like with games now, everything has to be a job now. Everyone wants to go to esports. Everyone wants to be the big dog. And games can't be hobbies anymore. They got to be jobs.
I could do esports. I'll mash it up at esports. Sorry, what?
You reckon?
Yeah, man.
Have you ever watched Sonic Fox play?
I've watched a lot of them play.
Daigo. Is it Daigo?
Yeah, forget Daigo. Daigo's bait.
What?
I've had enough of Daigo, man.
Okay. I mean, has he switched his main again?
So he went from Ryu to Guile. I think back to Ryu.
This is Street Fighter we're talking about, by the way.
Street Fighter 5,
so
yeah.
Daigo
is
is like the number one Street Fighter player of all time.
Yeah, just because of that really famous thing he did in Street Fighter 3, I think it was.
Is that the blocking?
That was the blocking of.
If you're interested, you should do Daigo Ken blocks Chun-Li's kicks thing,
and then you'll see what we're talking about.
And it became like an official challenge in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
But like everything now has to be like a job. Everything has to be I want to be so good that I go to esports, or I can become a YouTuber, or it's not like this thing anymore. Even in like Rogue Company, and I'm really getting into Rogue Company. We could be, say it's first to 5.
Yeah.
We could be we're losing. We got 2 games, 2 points. They got 4.
Yeah.
And there's 1 match to go. Like the team will surrender instead of playing the final match.
Your own team?
Yeah. Instead of playing the final match.
Yeah.
They'll rather surrender. And I'm like, is it because they'd rather lose on their terms and like it's kind of like a passive rage quit where they're like, well, I don't see the point of playing the last game, we're going to lose anyway,
right,
so why not just call it here? Or is it like, I don't want to see the loss, let's just quit so we don't give them the win?
I mean, come on,
but they get the win anyway.
That's not good sportsmanship.
I just notice it a lot now. People or they just do that thing where they AFK and just stand there
and just
get shot and get nothing. Yeah. Stuff
really?
Like that.
So they're just spitting their dummies out like that?
Yeah.
That's terrible, man.
So it's like, how can you possibly expect to become top tier, top tier player in Apex or Street Fighter or whatever if you rage quit or throw the game or feed or whatever it is?
You've got to learn to take those licks.
Take those licks. You've got to learn to lose. And why did you lose?
Yeah, exactly. Why did you lose? You done something wrong. I've done plenty wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I learned from that. I tilt, don't get me wrong, but I don't tilt so hard. I
tilted the other day.
That I'm going to rage quit the game.
I've never rage quit. I'm proud enough to say I've never, ever rage quit.
Do our listeners know what tilt means by now?
Tilt, okay, this is one of those things that's like, I'm sure
it's very, very colloquial language. So
people tilting means you get to a point where you're so angry that you're either playing badly or your team's playing badly that you just get really, really, really mad, and then you're just playing on emotion.
Yeah, and then you mash up a control pad.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you're on tilt. If you're on
your
tilt,
fight stick,
it just means that you're playing angry, and that just never works. If you start tilting and playing angry, it's time to call it.
It is time to call it. And I've had those nights where I'm tilting hard and I'm trying to play and I'm losing. And it's midnight 30, and I'm like, I am not going to bed
until I get a
win.
I've had those nights. I've had like 6 back-to-back losses in Rogue and in Street Fighter, and even when I was doing like Guilty Gear or KOF, and you're like, I can't go to bed until I win, and it's like 1 a.m, and I'm like, this is tilting. I've tilted, and I don't know what it is, and it's like I'm playing angry, and every time I lose, I'm like, no, one more. And then you just get to the point where you're like, I'm
because no one wants to go to bed fuming, fam.
Which is why it's funny in Apex, especially with my team, and a lot of people I see do it as well.
Yeah.
If you get the win, it's like, I'm out, I'm done, I'm going to bed, because I know if I don't get... If I leave on a win, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's cool. I can sleep peacefully now.
Yeah, man.
You know?
That's just, yeah.
So I don't wake up with anxiety next day.
You know what? It's funny. I got told that Rogue might be my one game, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm just really getting into it. I don't know if I agree with this, but apparently the way I play it and the rage and the I go quiet and I can't focus, because even though I think Apex is my game.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that's really strange, because you've been playing nothing but Apex. It's been like 80% Apex during lockdown.
I don't know why. I'm enjoying Rogue Company at the moment. Rogue Company is a 4v4 kind of team. It's a team-based shooter. It's kind of like third-person Valorant.
Yeah.
You know, the rules are plant the bomb, defend the bomb, 90-second rounds.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I think it looks great. And they used the Run the Jewels Black Panther theme.
Yeah, you did mention
I was
this.
like, wow, I wonder how much they paid for that.
But it was like a small snippet of it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just like, you can have that.
A section for like 20 grand.
Yeah. You can't afford nothing else.
So we digress. Did you have any news?
I mean, nothing aside from what was it, Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, that's right, the DLC. 16th, right?
That's coming out October 16th. That's their version 1.1 update.
Be so good. When is that?
The trailer actually dropped. The trailer
next week, next Friday.
Yes, it drops next Friday. Yeah.
Or should I say, this Friday?
That's true. We should probably erase that. But yeah, no, it's looking really good. I mean, even though I have not started the game yet, the list of things that they've included in this DLC are just mammoth for something that's free as well.
Yeah, they've done well here. Sucker Punch have done a really cool thing.
You know, they've got like a new game plus, custom gear loadouts, a new horse, apparently. A mysterious new merchant.
Yeah.
Still can't say that.
Merchant.
New charms and trophies, and that's just for the main game. And then for Legends now, right?
Legends looks great.
It does look really, really good. You've got 4-player survival missions, 2-player story mode missions, post-launch raid, 4 unique classes, new Legends cosmetics, and Legends photo mode.
Sick.
And looking at that trailer that they dropped for it, it just looks really impressive.
Yeah,
and it's free.
And it's free. I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but not even CD Projekt Red did that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
it was always
not even
cost
them
money.
did that. Yeah. Cost money to buy that.
I am super excited for this multiplayer. I think it's gonna be great.
I'm just super excited to actually play the main
Play
game.
the game, yeah. You haven't played it yet.
I'll get round to it.
It's good. It is really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
So nice and easy news round.
Nice and easy news round. You know what I'm saying?
So going back to what we were talking about before.
About tilting.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're playing on a team or something like that, you're working with players that you don't know or people that you don't know, and they yell at you or they call you names or whatever it is they do.
Yeah.
That doesn't help towards the tilt, right? It doesn't help for people cussing you out, calling you names, and being very inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to give them props for some of their creativity.
Oh, really? Do they get really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff.
Can we have an example? Keep it light.
I
for
really
the kiddies.
don't want to say that stuff.
Don't worry, I knew you wouldn't.
Yeah,
I was testing the waters.
I'm kind of like, I don't. Yeah. So it's just kind of amazing.
Yeah.
You know, throwback to Valorant when it was like the fat and gay and autistic thing I got called. That just makes no sense. It's like
it's ridiculous.
One of them, like, calling someone gay isn't even offensive. It's just okay.
I mean, the thing is, it's like if you're an adult, how are you talking like that? If you're like a young adult, like say in your teens, what are your parents doing? With you?
What are your parents doing?
I'm sure they didn't raise you like that. So go back. Wash your mouth out with soap.
How are you going to call someone? How are you going to try and turn the word gay into an insult?
It's just ridiculous, man.
It's like,
for them.
It's idiots, man. Anyway, so the problem you've got is, at what point? How are you supposed to be good at a game when you can't be bad at it?
Yeah, because
does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense, because it seems as though with all of that name calling and stuff like that, it's gonna force you into. I mean, let's be real about this. Like, it's almost a mental health in gaming sort of thing, almost, you know, because if you're gonna if you're that disposition where you get so vexed that you have to call someone names and and you've got someone on the other side who's so into the game and they're just being insulted, depending on how that person is and how they handle that stuff, it can be potentially damaging. So then what happens is, in order to avoid that, which your question suggests, do you have to be good? It means that it's putting the onus on the player to be good so they can avoid name calling and shit like that.
And that, so it comes into that. It comes into the situation. I mean, like I said, those three things aren't offensive, but the fact that, you know, this person has decided to weaponize just in trying to what they think is an offensive term. It's kind of interesting. It's like, do you go through, when you start a game, do you have to go in being mentally prepared to be called names and then get to a point where you are good enough that the names just drop off because you're a good player?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because, you're saying, I'll just suck it up and take the hits.
Yeah.
Or is it something where, and I personally don't know how anyone would go about doing this, the community changes and we don't, whether it's, for example, okay, I'm going to take a right turn here.
Okay.
Dota 2.
Okay.
And League of Legends, right?
Yeah.
I have always been fascinated by those games because they are so huge. Like, League of Legends is such a creative, the Riot Games are such a creative company when it comes to their animations, their music, all the stuff they do. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I know they've got some murky reputation in the background, but like, I've always been interested in trying to play it.
Yeah.
The problem I have is that it feels quite intimidating, and there's layers to it, especially Dota. Like, there's layers to it.
What is Dota for our listeners?
Oh, sorry, yeah. So Dota 2 is Defense of the Ancients. Well played. Dota 2 is Defense of the Ancients. It's a team-based. Oh, how do you explain it? Like, okay, you know what?
Is it like a because we've kind of touched on it before. Is it like a
tower defense, I want to call it.
Tower defense, yeah.
Yeah, Dota 2 is a multiplayer online arena video game developed and published by Valve. The game is a sequel to Defense of the Ancients. And basically, you know, you have 3 lanes and there's towers, and the idea is that you have to get to the far end of the map and blow up their, for lack of a better word, base.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of moving parts. And you know, there's the prize money for winning this game is in the tens of millions in esports and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. And they put a lot of work into it. And League is the same. League like sells out stadiums for the finals and stuff. And you know, you hear people going, so and so transferred to so and so. It's like, you know, FIFA. It's like, so and so bought that player for this amount of money, and he now lives.
Wow. So it's on them sort of levels.
It's on them levels. And I've always been interested. I've always loved the aesthetic of the game, and I've always loved the aesthetic of it. Sorry, I've said that twice. But I find it intimidating because when I try and play it, if you don't play well off the bat, you get lit up by people cussing you out, calling you, saying they don't know what you're doing. I was quite lucky. The first time I played Dota, someone was actually really nice to me and was like, just making sure you're all right, being really like, try and do this, try and do that, keep an eye on it, stick with me. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I was like, wow, this game's all right, actually.
Yeah.
Second game, total opposite.
It was all over.
Flamed. And it was like, is this what it is? Is this when you want to, if you want to get into a game that is a, not a community, that's the wrong word, but like, a staple, like it's these games are hardcore. Do you need to basically play the games and get your team yelling at you and pissing you off, like you piss them off to the point you have to study and work and get it done to the point where the name calling kind of dies off and you've kind of fought your way out of the pit? Or does the community need to change? Maybe it's the matchmaking. Maybe they may be like, right, you're a brand new gamer in this game, we'll put you in a league with, maybe they already do that, I don't know, but like we'll put you in a pool of new players and you guys can kind of like be sweaty and flop around in that time together.
I mean, no one is good at a game straight off the bat, right? So I don't think, I mean, to be quite basic about it, like, you know, the name calling and stuff like that doesn't really, it just doesn't need to happen.
It doesn't, but people get so wound up.
Because it's creating, it's a toxic atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's a very, very toxic atmosphere.
Well, it's humiliation over education, isn't it?
Yeah, and I get the feeling that it's easier to, like, for example, when we used to play GoldenEye back in the day.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like 4 players sitting in your small bedroom or whatever on one 4x3 TV, just smashing GoldenEye. Do you know what I'm saying? And, you know, you had good players and bad players, but it wasn't necessarily a case of, oh, you know what, you're this and you're that, and it's like,
yeah,
you know, there was none.
Especially when you're on the same team.
Especially when you're on the same team as well.
Because even when I played Rogue, and Trick came over to Rogue, a friend of mine, and I was like, okay, this is what you need to do. Here's the thing. This is what it is. All the mistakes I'd made, and all the cussing and everything, I turned to him and was like, this is what you need to do. These are the rules. Try and do this. Remember that. You need to buy this. You need to upgrade that. Instantly, it was like, okay, I got it. And he kind of took off. And he wasn't getting bottom frag ever. Like, he was doing really well. And I was getting bottom. You know, when I first started, I was on my own. But no one that I was on voice chat with ever. I was like, oh, I'm new. And they're like, oh God. Like, and you think, okay, so what's the deal? Like, what's the... And instantly, by me turning to him and being like,
cliquey.
This is what you need to do, he was like, oh, cool. And he got it. And so I'm kind of like, is that the answer then? If you want to get into a game, you need someone to play with that will help you, or a team of people. So basically, for example, in Dota or League of Legends, which is the same idea, you need to be on a team of mates who will carry you and be like, this is what it is, this is what you need to do, try and stay close. Is that the only way you can get in, or are you going to roll the dice and hopefully, because when you play Street Fighter online and stuff, it doesn't really matter because because it's just you, right? So
I've been name called though.
Yeah, you have.
I've been
but you got to like
my
tier, top 10% in Europe kind of.
Oh, what, for Bison?
Yeah. Like, you were a big deal. And that
I've had people hitting up my, because you got the messages thing on PlayStation.
Yeah.
I've had people blowing up my messages after a match, like, oh yeah, change your name because it's bait, man. You're trying really, really hard, or try me on my Ryu then. Yeah. I'm like, but look, bro.
But I beat you because you picked that character.
You picked that character. That's your business, innit? Like, I'm moving on.
But then we're back to this, like, why can't you lose?
Yeah. Just take the loss.
Take the L and walk.
That's it. Because if I take the L, I'm not gonna be like, right, what was that username's name? All right, let me just quickly type that in.
Let me to go out
of your way to send someone and bearing in mind, like, not a lot of people
voice messages in that.
Voice messages, or I'm trying to write out a long message on my control pad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's not even a keyboard thing. People going out of their way to do that just to tell me that I'm rubbish.
Can you be that vexed, or are you that, like, does it get to a point where people? I mean, is it this? And I'm not calling people out. I'm saying, like, do you think it is an insecurity thing where they're like, I have been showed up. I thought I was great, and I've been showed up so badly. I need to, for my own benefit, contact this person and be like, you know what, I'm better if I was this character because I need to prove to myself.
People need to cut the crap. I'm calling people out. I don't give a
well, no, but then it's cool because it is that. It's like you need to take the L. You do.
Let me tell you something, right? Like, not to go into Street Fighter too much, but my earliest, and I'm going to shout out We Read Comics too from the Source Wall. He was the first person.
What's a potential guest?
Also potential guest, yeah. Look out for that in future. He was the first one to get me into Street Fighter. Back in the day. And he'd already been playing it for a minute before I got involved. Right?
Yeah.
The man used to dash me across the screen.
Yeah.
Like, he just used to beat me up. I didn't know what was going on. I liked the game, but I didn't know what was happening. So I took a lot of L's. But then in my head, it was like, okay, I'm gonna be back. Yeah. So I went away. And I got good.
Yeah, you get but then we're into this get good culture. We got into this get good. So that's a different thing where it's just like, I'm shit, and it's like, no, just get good, bro. And you're like, well, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah. But my point being is that, there was never, he wasn't calling me names or anything like that. It was just
educating.
It was just the experience of it. Like, I knew nothing.
I once got a guy from Street Fighter say, "You need Jesus."
What?
Yeah, like, one guy said, "Good games," and I was like, okay, cool. And I just went, "Yeah, GG," and he went, "Yeah, you need Jesus."
I mean, come on.
And I'm like, why? You beat me. Like, it's all right. Like, Like I've had weird messages where I've like stomped people and they're like, when you're Alex or something, and the worst one I've had is Mortal Kombat when you beat someone and then it goes back to the character selection screen and then they go do and they go straight to another character and you're like, oh okay,
right. See,
and then you beat that character and then I've just got a message where it just says F you.
Oh, for goodness sake!
And you're like, why?
I mean, I think I told you at one point I joined a Street Fighter Facebook group.
That's right.
Joined a Street Fighter Facebook group because I was in it hard.
Yeah.
But dude, I had to leave after a few weeks because that group was toxic. The way people were cussing each other out, and it was raw.
It wasn't playful.
It wasn't playful at all. This was personal, and I just thought, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this.
Do you think now more than ever, what do you think the answer is if for listeners that wanted to try a different game that is considered to be a steep learning curve or team based or whatever it is, is it basically you're going to have to take the hits until the hits stop? Or do you think it's a case of, like for me in Rogue, a lot of the time it's like, I'm just going to mute the chat because I don't care about what you think and I need to, and I'm just going to get better. And then when I'm top frag every time, the name calling stops. Where do you
good tactic.
What do you think the answer is? If there is one.
I mean, to be brutally honest, there is going to have to be a degree of just prepare yourself to take those names, like to take that name calling.
And we're not saying toughen up.
It's not. No,
it's not toughing up. We're not saying you need to get on with it because it's not fun and no one should have to deal with it.
No, it's not fun at all. I do not condone that type of behavior at all. But I would say for listeners out there and for people in general to play like team-based games or just one-on-one beat 'em up games or whatever, just be prepared. You're going to get some messages.
Yeah. Apex is different because the ping system works really well.
Right.
And I think that at the end of the day, like, yes, the games I play where I am on voice chat go better than others. But I've won loads of games where the ping's been great. The characters have been the other players have been really cool. And there's no need for us to chat. And I think that's what Respawn were kind of pushing for, was like, we'll just develop the life out of this ping system, so that hopefully it kind of nixes some of the toxicity in gaming. Because Jesus, Valorant, oh my god, Valorant's toxicity is levels. If you can go on YouTube and just look up like Valorant toxicity, or it's the same in like League or Dota. Rogue isn't too bad, but people have their mics on and they're eating, or
come on, decorum, guys and
girls. Push the talk, brother. Come on. I kind of feel like I almost want to do like a 5-minute documentary video on a new player, myself, playing something like Dota and just recording my experiences to the point where someone either says, well done, well played, or to the point, how long would it take someone to get to a point where they feel like they are capable in a game without getting abused? And even watching people play Dota now, it's, the arguments in team, and then people going, we're gonna have to report this person because of abuse in game, and you're just like, oh my god, like why?
I mean, it's I tell you what though, I do have to rate Street Fighter 5 for having that what was it, the honor system.
The honor system, Go on, explain that then.
Well, so basically the honor in Street Fighter 5's infancy, there was a hell of a lot of rage quitting. I mean, there's still rage quitting, to be fair.
And what's rage quitting?
And rage quitting is basically when, thank you very much. Rage quitting is basically when you tilt so hard, you get emotional so hard, because you're just not performing well. You would rather just you'd quit the game.
Pull the plug, basically.
You pull the plug out of the game. And then that's it. It's over. He doesn't even get to the end of the round, and then
it doesn't count as a win or a loss. It never used to.
No, it doesn't count as a win or a loss. It's just the game's dead.
And it's also like, why would you be so desperate for your like win streak to be decent? You'd rather take. You couldn't take the L.
You can't take the L.
It is way stronger. You are a way stronger person when you can take the L and get stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
Then like, I can't face that L.
Yeah, I can't face the loss, man.
Sorry,
but yeah, they did this thing whereby they cottoned on to the fact that a lot of people were rage quitting, so they developed this icon for players to say, like, look, if you are an honorable player and you don't rage quit, you get like a handshake.
The little golden icon, isn't it?
The little golden
blue
hexagon.
Gold,
blue gold hexagon icon to say, this guy's an honorable player, so he's not going to rage quit. You're safe with this. You're safe with this guy. You're safe with this girl. And for the rage quitters,
was it a purple like Grim Reaper?
It was like a Grim Reaper or something like that. I can't remember now. And they were almost put into their own.
They were. That's what happened. They got put into their own league. So rage quitters were only playing other rage quitters.
Yeah. So basically that rage quitters were in their own pit.
Your good. Yeah, that's what they needed. Like you go and play over there, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's also the fact that your stats must be jacked because just bare people just cutting each other off.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think you can get back into good graces, but you have to,
you
play
gotta work
the game.
for it.
And that was the thing as well. It's like if the other person rage quit, you would get the win regardless. I remember playing FIFA back in the day, and that didn't happen. You'd be like 3-0 up, and it's like you're 8 minutes in. There's 10 minutes to go of the game time.
Yeah.
My man would rage quit, and then it wouldn't count. And it was only till later they were like, "Yeah, he rage quit. You get the win."
Oh my god!
So that you don't waste time. But rage quitting is real. Like again, and that's another thing. It's like ranked games now, especially in Apex and stuff. If you rage quit during a ranked match, you get sin binned.
You get sin binned.
Yeah, you can't play any game for like 5 minutes or something. And then the more you do it, the longer the time goes.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Teach these lot a lesson, you know what I mean?
Yeah, play the game. And this is the thing, like I don't know what it is in a lot of these games. I should find out, but this idea of not accepting the loss.
Yeah.
But then this is the sentence I'm going to try and say. You can't be bad before you can be good because you'll get berated for it.
Right, yeah.
But the answer to a lot of people for that is if you are bad, just keep rage quitting so it doesn't look like you're bad.
Yeah.
Until you get to the point where you start winning. Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
So it's like if you're a bad player, the answer for some people is to just, it doesn't add to my skills. I'll just keep quitting and quitting until I start winning.
Yeah.
And then I'll win and win and win. And then if I get beaten by a better player, I'll just keep quitting and quitting. And it's like, that's not how this...
Rubbish.
And then at the end of the day,
culture.
you're going to... It's like, Mortal Kombat where people just throw fireballs from the side of the screen.
Yeah, just spam.
They rank up, but then they get their asses kicked later on the top of the higher leagues because people know how to work with them. And then they're like, well, I can't...
Yeah.
It's because you didn't change.
You didn't change your style. And this is the thing. Like, you think that you will go through a game just using one style. That won't work. And I learned that early on, playing games like Street Fighter or like GoldenEye or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you cannot stick to the same mode of play. You got to adapt.
You'll get caught out.
Yeah, you will get caught out for sure.
Okay, so to wrap it up, what do you think is what would you suggest if you turn to me and I go, right, I'm going to have a go at Dota, but I feel like I'm a little sensitive to that stuff, and I am.
Yeah.
What would be the answer for me to get good in that game?
I think the answer for you would be to, knowing everything we know about the culture, I would say, all right, be prepared. You're new. Be prepared for some name calling. Ignore that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know it's going to happen. Just ignore that. Just focus on your skill set and building that level by level. Learn one mode of play, adapt that, learn another mode of play, adapt that, put them together, and then you'll come out the other side, and you'll be a better player.
It's the same with Street Fighter. Eventually the losses will start being less.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the only thing I say is like with Street Fighter, I use Street Fighter as an example because it's such a perfect example.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Apex actually, is that you'll realize that at the beginning you're dying all the time, you're constantly losing, and then it'll get to a point where like, oh, I won that game, or I got further in that, and then you'll start seeing progression in gaming is such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling.
It is you become a better player and you feel good, you know what I mean,
and you're calculated because it's not just like sweaty button mashing.
Exactly. And it's not to say that you still won't take losses, because you'll have good days and bad days, right? But the difference is that you are a better player now. So those losses and, the potential name calling, it's just water for ducks back. Like it's not going to stick.
Yeah. It's not unlike the earning your place thing we talked about last week.
Yeah.
It's that thing of, it's the same kind of idea. It's just a case of, the losses will become less. And I think in some games, I'm not saying all games, but in some games, the name calling and the aggression will become less because they can't say anything to you because you're a good player.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to say I think the communities need to be looked at, And I think there needs to be a kind of...
They might.
I think there's a degree of like, come on, guys, like educate, don't humiliate. I mean, obviously, if the guy's being obnoxious, then do what you want to do. But I think if you can clearly see people saying, and it's like Final Fantasy. I'll use an example: Final Fantasy 14, which is a massive multiplayer online game. Yeah. Like think of your WoW and your World of Warcraft and stuff. Yeah. I remember going into a dungeon and being like, "Hey guys, this is my first dungeon. I'll do my best." And the guy next to me was like, "All good. If we come up against monsters, just keep them pointed away from us." Yeah. And I tell you what, that little sentence after just ages of oh great, man. And I was a tank, which means that I have to take all the hits. I don't want to go down that road too much. Was like keep just keep painting away from us. Yeah. And the guy was pinging. It made me feel so good that someone was actually helpful and nice. And we won the dungeon. We beat the boss. We did all that. And at the end he went, "There you go, well done, mate. Just keep that up." And I was like, my day was done. I was like, "Thanks, man." Yeah.
Crush this day. Let's move on.
And it was just the same thing when I was running around and someone was like, "Are you trying to figure out how to do this?" And I was like, yeah. He goes, "Oh, follow me. And joined a team. We joined teams, and then we went off and we did the thing, and he was, "There you go, mate." And I was like, "Okay." He goes, "I gotta go." "Okay, bye. Yeah. Added me as a friend. We were boys.
Yeah, that's it.
And it was just little moments like, oh, this makes the game whole worth it.
It's nice when that happens, because I kind of had a similar experience on Street Fighter 5, whereby, I've come across a couple of players in like the States or whatever. Yeah. And we'd have some really intense games, like some really like, oh man, it's going to the wire, isn't it? Yeah. And either I'd lose or they lose, but then they would send me a message saying, "You know what? That was a really good match." And then we became friends on PS, and then we'd meet up and fight.
It's great.
And it was cool, you know what I mean?
Because like, it's just nice to know when you just meet a genuinely good person that's like, there's room to grow here. Or we're looking for a tank. Do you want to come and join our squad? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, and they're like, yeah, just join us for a bit. And I, you roll around for 4 or 5 hours. I mean, I remember testing out a game called Crowfall, and someone was like, "Look, we're both doing the same thing. Why don't we just do it together?" And I'm like, "Yeah, calm." Yeah. And it was great, as opposed to the other, where it's just like, "No, don't do that. Oh my god, tank's blind." And you're like, "Hey,
come on, man."
I did love it once. There was a guy defending me because I did the right call, but unfortunately, my another player on the team stood right next to me, which isn't what you're supposed to do. Yeah. And the guy stood up, and then the other tank was just like, "Well, if you're gonna stand next to him, you're gonna get killed. It's not his fault." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's not my fault."
Yeah, what are you standing there for?
But no, I just feel like, please, if anyone listens to this and does play with other players, and I'm sure most of them do anyway, like, obviously if they're being obnoxious and they're not paying attention and they're not trying, that's one thing, but it really does make a difference when you help somebody out and help them get better. I really, really think it does.
It does, man. It does. It creates, like I say, it creates such a good feeling. You want to be able to feel like you can do more.
Yeah. The losses are a lot like the comments. They will go away and they will become less the more you play and the better you get. Hopefully the communities change and people do help each other out. And I'm sure there are people out there that do. But unfortunately, you're dealing with a lot of like racist 12-year-olds
just hiding behind their computer screens. So, it's they're just different people. I don't know.
Keep at it, man. Be part of the community. Fight the good fight. Yeah, it's all good. Anyway,
always.
Battle shots.
It's battle shots now.
Have you got one?
I do have one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I love that we were just sitting there going, "What should we talk about today?" And you were like, "I'm not really sure," but you got battle shots in your head.
Battle shots locked and loaded. Amazing. From time.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna. Right, my two characters.
One
shots. Right? One's gonna be Dan Hibiki
from
Street Fighter, from Street Fighter Alpha fame.
Yeah.
Dan Hibiki.
That Joker.
Why you gotta be like that?
I don't like Dan. What?
You don't like Dan? It will be Dan Hibiki, and it will be.
Go on.
Yeah, hold on. I'm flitting between two.
Oh, okay.
I'm flitting between two.
Okay.
Dan Hibiki and Sonya Blade
from
Mortal Kombat.
Sonya Blade all day long. Sonya Blade.
Not even a blink.
Not even no. Sonya Blade's tough. She is proper.
What does that mean? She
is tough. Sonya Blade is on one. She was my main in MKX.
Oh my god.
I think it was MKX.
It was MKX.
Yeah, it was MKX.
What? Dan doesn't stand a chance, no? Why? Because he's a Joker. Doesn't mean he can't drink.
It probably does mean he can't drink.
What?
Dude can barely stand up on his own, sober.
Bruv.
Oh, no, Sonya's tough, man. She's tough. And if we're going on the trauma scale, Sonya wins. Especially from MK11.
Oh God, are we reaching into the trauma box again?
The trauma box.
Like, why?
She's tougher, man. She's tougher. She's witnessed her young self. She got murked. It's a whole thing. Like,
Yeah,
time travel, fam.
Yeah, but, you know, Dan doesn't have a dad. He lost his dad to...
Still didn't know the fact he's going to die and try time travel. No. I think Sonya's tougher.
Yeah.
She runs her own, like, super tough squad.
Right.
She's bad.
Dan had a school.
And it was called what? The super awesome
Right.
great fist punch thing. No,
I'm sorry, Dan. I'm trying for you here, but
nah.
yeah, it's
nah.
not. It's
I think
not
if it was
happening.
between, and he'd be sitting there making all these silly faces and taunting and that.
Got to take the L on
And
that
I
one.
don't
Dan.
think, yeah.
Got to take the L, bro.
I think that Dan would lose that one. I think if you had to choose, if Dan had to go up against someone, and you're like, all right, cool, who would Dan fight against? That's kind of like jokey in the same way.
Yeah.
Probably someone like.
Yeah, tell us.
Has it got to be in Street Fighter?
Doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be.
What was the drunk guy from Tekken?
Oh, I know exactly who you mean, and I can't recall his name right now.
That would be interesting. That would be more of an interesting one. I mean, technically, he should win anyway because he's just drinking all the time.
Can't actually remember his name.
If you can think of his name, let us know.
Yeah, please.
But
let
he
us know
was
in
the guy
comments.
he's like drunken style in Tekken.
Yeah. He was awesome.
But yeah, he'd be a good version of going up against Dan or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the panda from Tekken.
The panda. You what? Why? Now you've just been insulting.
Yeah.
All
I don't like Dan.
All right, fine. You don't like that. Okay, just say.
I will
say it with your chest. Bro.
I will play as Dan and I will test him out when he comes out in 5 years or whatever. For this random new season that they've decided to put on the back. But
yeah, I do need to go back in there actually and just like teach some people a lesson. I think. Yeah.
Well, as always, guys. Just to let you know, obviously we're in October, so Halloween is happening.
Yeah.
We're deciding to play some horror games, and we're
Yes,
going to start
we are.
with Darkwood. I have
Darkwood.
actually managed to get Biz to play Conan, and I'm fascinated to see how he gets on with that. So that'll probably come up in the next chat.
Mm.
But we're going to be playing a game called Darkwood, which is a top-down horror game.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll let you know. I'm terrible at horror games.
You are.
So I have a feeling you're going to do a lot better at this than me.
I eat horror games, man.
But we're going to play that.
Horror.
What's the other game that you were going to play?
I think that was it for now. Darkwood and I think it was
Those
just Darkwood.
two, yeah.
Yeah. Darkwood
So yeah, we're gonna start talking about a few more horror games. Maybe do a part 2 of the horror franchise. And so we'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know, man.
All right, guys. As always, we're on YouTube Wednesdays. Anytime during Wednesday, we'll upload on YouTube. We are here every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us on Instagram at tonesandthebiz.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, because we don't have anything else, because I watched The Social Dilemma and it freaked me out.
Keep it civil, guys, in the comments and chats, you know.
Yeah, man. And as always, cheers for watching. Cheers for listening. We really, really appreciate it, as always. All right, guys. Have a wicked week, and we will see you next week.
Take it easy.
Later.
Peace.